All right, 1.6. We're going to use the least common multiple here. So we're going to use that ladder method to get a common denominator. When you're adding and subtracting fractions, you have to have a common denominator because fractions are parts of a whole. And so that whole has to be the same size in order to add or subtract the parts. So your whole is your denominator. When it's already the same, you just add or subtract whatever it tells you to do for the numerator. So 13 minus 7 is 5, and your denominator is 16. That should be fairly, oh my goodness, 13 minus 7, 7, 8. No, it's 6. Let's fix that. Oh, this is a great example for you guys to see. Okie dokie. So I need to reduce 6 over 16. So let's go here. And remember, I'm going to factor. So 6 over 16 is 2 times 3 over 2 times 8, which is 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2. So one pair of 2's will cancel. So in actuality, I should have written this as 3/8. So let's go back and do that. That's one thing that's nice about the software is it gives you a chance to fix your errors and not lose credit for something. All right, so here's our first one that has a different denominator. So again, remember your whole has to be the same size in order to add or subtract the parts. So for this, we need the LCM. Your LCD is going to be the LCM of all your denominators. Okay, and your least common multiple or least common denominator, they both start with an L, so that tells you to use the ladder method. Okay, a big L there, and it's going to look like a ladder. So my two denominators are 5 and 4. Start with 2, doesn't go in, goes in twice. Do 2 again, doesn't go in, goes in once. Drop that 1. 5, 3 doesn't go in, so I skip 3. 5 goes in one time. So now I'm done, and it's going to be 4 times 5 or 20. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this as 4/5 minus 1/4. Now I've determined that my common denominator is 20. So I need to rewrite this as some 20ths minus some 20ths. Okay, so I need to change from 5 to 20. Remember when we did equivalent fractions, you had something like this. Well, what did you multiply 5 by to get 20? 4. So you got to multiply your 4 by 4. So that becomes 16. So we did 5 times 4, so we got to do 4 times 4. To get from 4 to 20, we did times 5, so we've got to do this numerator times 5. So now we have the same denominator. So we have the same size wholes, and we can just do 16 minus 5 and get 11 over 20. And I know I cannot reduce that because 11 is prime. So there's no, then there 11 is not a factor of 20. So I'm going to enter my answer as 11/20. And we'll look for another problem. So here we have two different denominators again. So I need the LCD of 21 and 12. So I'm going to do the ladder method. 2 does not go in there, but it goes in here 6. 2 does not go in, goes in 3 times. I can't do 2 anymore. So 3 goes in 7, goes in once, drop the 1. Now I can't do 3 or 5, jump to 7, goes in once. Done. So it's going to be 4 times 21. 4 times 1, 4 times 2. So that's my least common denominator. So I'm going to rewrite 20 over 21 plus 9/12. Now my new denominator is going to be 84. So I call this building the house. So I know those things are going to be in place. Now I have to figure out what my numerators are. So I did 21 times what to give me 12? Well, I did to give me 84. I did 21 times 4. times 4. So I got to do 20 times 4. And that's on your sheet. 2 times 4 is 8, so that's 80. What did I multiply 12 by to get 84? Well, I can use my sheet and go down my 12 and see that it was 7. So I need to do 9 times 7. Use your sheet. 63. 9 times 7, let's make sure that's right. Yep. Okay, so now I just need to add 80 and 63 to get my new numerator. It's 143. And it does not tell me that I can't leave it improper, but I do need to check and see if I can simplify that. So again, I'm going to factor 143. It's really big. I know 2 doesn't go into it. I'm going to check 3 by adding my digits. Remember, 1 plus 4 plus 3 is 8. So 3 does not go into 8, so 3 does not go into 143. There is I can look at it. I don't know about 4, but I can, there is a rule for 4, but you don't need to worry about it. The rule for 5 is if it ends in 5, and it does not. The rule for 6 is if 2 and 3 go in, neither one goes in, so it's not 6. 7, I might try 7. I don't have, it doesn't, 7 times 20 is 140, so it's not going to go into 143. So as I start getting higher and higher and having trouble factoring this, I'm going to use the fact that the software will give me a chance if it's wrong to go back and correct it. So I'm going to guess that 143 over 84 is correct and fully reduced. And if it's not, it will tell me. Okay, it was. So I move on to the next one. All right, again, I need a common denominator. So it's easy when one of them is 1. How do I move that over? That's not right. I guess I have to close that and try it again. I don't know why sometimes it opens it over there on the side. So when one of them is 1, the common denominator is the other one, because if I just multiply 1 times 11, I will get 11. So 1 times 11, and so I have to do 4 times 11. Now I have a common denominator, so I can just subtract my numerators. And I need to make sure, can I reduce that? Well, 11 is prime, and it doesn't go into 40, so that should be my final answer. So this should be getting clearer and clearer here. I'm going to multiply 7 times 3 to make it a 21. Then I'll have a common denominator. So if you can look at it and tell what your common denominator is, go with it. If you can't, go ahead and do the ladder method with your 2 denominators, or 3, and go from there. So I'm going to let you sort this out on your own. I'm going to skip through and see if I can find them a little bit more difficult. You're just going to do your common denominator with 6, 3, and 18, your ladder method. You can do that. Same there, same there. These are all about the same. Okay, word problem, everybody's favorite. If your income is $4,940 a month and you plan to budget 3/5 of that for rent and 3/10 for food, how much are you going to spend on those 2 items? So in other words, you're going to budget 3/5 and 3/10 for rent and food. So we need to add those 2 fractions together. And then to find out how much money that is, that means we're going to multiply that fraction times that total. So let's see what that looks like. Come on. 3/5 plus 3/10 is how we start. And I can look at 5 and 10 and know that my common denominator is going to be a 10. If you can't, you're going to use the ladder method. It's fine. So 5 times 2 gave me this 10. So I need to do 3 times 2 for that numerator. This guy was already a 10, so he stays a 3 on the top. 6 plus 3 is 9. So 9/10, in other words, almost all of your income is going to be for rent and food. So 9/10 of 49.40. So I need to do 9/10 times 49/40 over 1. And again, I'm not going to multiply 9 times 49/40. 4,940. I'm going to factor first. So 9 is 3 times 3. 4940 is 10 times 494. And if I look at my bottom and I've got a 10, I know that that's the most I can cancel from the numerator because that's the most I have on the denominator. So I really don't have to factor any further than that. That is not prime factorization, but it's all I need. Because once I cancel those 10s, there's nothing left to cancel on the denominator. It's just a 1. So my answer is going to be a whole number of 3 times 3 is 9 times 494. 9 times 4 is 36. 81, 82, 84, 36, 44. So $4,446 out of that 4,940 is spent on rent and food. This is sort of realistic. We're not going to have a lot of money left. 4446. Good. So remember, I added up my two parts to find the total parts that I cared about because it said these two items. Oops. Add up your fractions, and then you're going to multiply what you get by that amount so that you can change it to a dollar amount. 3 letters weigh that amount. What's the total weight? Well, total means add. So I'm just going to add 5/7 plus 1/2 plus 1/4. Get a common denominator, just like the others that you did. Last one is going to be one that you already know how to do. So that's a quick overview of how to add and subtract fractions. Remember, you've got to get a common denominator. Use that ladder method if you need to. And remember that if you multiply your denominator by something to change it, you have to multiply your numerator by that same number. Good luck.